I want to quickly talk to you about huge personal loans for bad credit. And I want to compare and contrast LendingPoint, Upgrade, Avant, and Bank. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to speak to you about bad credit loans, and we want to compare and contrast four lenders. So we have a LendingPoint, Upgrade, Avant, and Bank. It's very important to understand that when we speak about bad credit loans, we are speaking indirectly about bad credit, right? Bad credit, I want you to look at right now on the screen. What do we mean by bad credit? Bad credit means that your FICO score is between 300 and 579. If you have fair credit, that means your FICO is between 580 and 669. If you have a good score, that means your FICO oscillates between 670 and 739. Very good score means 740 to 799, and excellent means you are above 800 in terms of your FICO. It's important to understand that when we speak about bad credit score, you gotta look at that range. It's important because some people believe they have bad credit score, but they probably have a fair credit score, which is why you want to always check your credit score to make sure that you have, if there are any inaccurate information, you can remove them so you can increase your credit score. It's also important to understand what makes up a bad credit score. So FICO will calculate your credit score using 5 pieces of information. So you have your payment history that accounts for 35%, the amounts owed, that's 30%, the length of credit history, 15%. If you have new credit, that's 10%, and the credit mix, that's 10%. Okay, it's kind of important because you want to have an idea of what makes up your credit score. And how do you actually get a bad credit loan? There are a few things you need to do. First, you want to check your credit score. As I told you earlier, it is possible, and that's what Congress has mandated, that every year all citizens have access to their credit reports. And you have to go to a website called annualcreditreport.com, and you can check your credit report for free. And you do it once per year, okay? And you can contact Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion if there are problems on your credit report. And you also want to ensure that you can repay the loan, very important. So you want to look at your budget. You also want to compare and contrast bad credit personal loans. That's what we're doing here. And you want to take advantage of pre-qualification. Never go to a lender that just want to do a hard pull right away. You want to allow them to do a soft pull, which is what happens during the pre-qual, okay, the pre-qualification. And you want to add a co-signer if necessary. And don't forget to also gather your financial documents, very important. So once you agree to the offer, be prepared for a hard pull. One thing I also want to talk to you about, folks, I want you to pay attention to how you choose the best bad credit loan company. The lender that you're going to choose, you need to have a few criteria that you can use to choose the right loan, even if you have bad credit. Simply because you have bad credit doesn't mean that you can allow anybody to charge you exorbitant rates. No, this does not work. So here are 4 criteria you can use. First, you want to check the eligibility requirements. What is the lender's requirements in terms of eligibility? What are the interest rates, and most importantly, the fees? So anything from origination fees, prepayment penalties, administrative fees, those things are important. You also want to pay attention to another thing, which is the repayment terms, right? What is the loan duration? Is it 1 year, 2 years, 4 years? You got to think about that. And what is the type of lender that you are working with? So I want you to pay attention here, because when it comes to lenders, we have a credit union, we have traditional banks, we have alternative lenders, we have online lenders. So we have a wide constellation of lenders that you need to pay attention to, and they all charge different fees. From our experience, from our research, we've seen that online lenders charge less for loans if you have bad credit or fair credit. Before I get into the actual nitty-gritty, please check out this short evaluation video. It shows you our method when it comes to categorizing, when it comes to evaluating and listing personal loans and business loans on this show. Check this out. All right, let's first start with upgrade. So folks, again, I'm talking to you, I'm doing a compare and contrast between for huge personal loans for bad credit, and I'm comparing and contrasting LendingPoint, Upgrade, Avant, and TD Bank. Let's first start with Upgrade. When you think about Upgrade, I want you to think about a great company that is great for fast funding. They give you the cash really, really fast. Minimum credit score 525, that's fantastic. APR 5.94% to 35.94% with autopay, and the amount will range from $1,000 to $50,000. We love that. What are the pros and cons here? So for the pros, for the benefits, you have a fast funding. You do have access to a wide constellation of loan amounts, and these loans are accessible to most borrowers, right? Because you have a FICO so low, 525. I'm sure 80% of the population will qualify unless they don't have a credit history. What about the cons? They do charge an origination fee, and they do not allow co-signers. So this is something you have to keep in mind. And we love the fact that when it comes to they don't have a minimum income requirements, and there is no minimum credit score in some places. The 525 FICO applies to does not apply to all states. So something you need to know. And to apply, you need to be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident, or living in the United States on a valid visa. You must be the age of majority in the state where you apply. You must have a verifiable bank account and valid email address. And you also need to have things like your name, address, and date of birth. So it's kind of very important to have those in mind. And they have excellent customer service that is available not 24/7, but they're available seven days a week. And over the weekend, the hours are a little lower, but they do have a stellar customer service. So we would definitely recommend this lender. One thing I also need to say here is that if you are working, or if you want to get the high amounts, because the maximum loan amounts here is $50,000. But of course, the amount that you end up getting will oscillate based on what? On your credit history, on your credit score, the loan terms, your employment history, your financial situation in general. So just be aware of that even though the range is 1,000 to 50,000, you might be probably getting 30 grand or 35 grand, which, if you ask me, that's kind of cool too, right? I'll take that any single day. I want to talk to you now about LendingPoint. So when we think about LendingPoint, I want you to think about 4 important things. LendingPoint is great for flexible small loans, very flexible. The minimum credit score here is 550. The APR will oscillate between 9.99% and 35.99%. This is pretty cool. And the amount, $2,000 to $36,500. So, and what are the pros and cons here? When we think about LendingPoint, we love the platform because they do have options for people with low credit scores. Remember, people with FICO between 300 and 579. And there are no prepayment penalties, and you receive a quick funding process similar to Upgrade. And what about the cons? They also they do not allow joint loans, and their APRs are kind of high. But you know what? At the end of the day, it comes with the territory. If you have a bad credit, sometimes you just have to put up with the high APR. And to actually qualify, to actually apply for this loan, you just need to be at least 18 years old where you live. I believe the majority age is 19 in Alaska and Nebraska. You got to have a photo ID issued by a federal, state, or local government. Okay, this is very important to have. You need to have a social, and you need to have a verifiable personal bank account in your name. And on the form, you can apply online, by the way. And they do have a soft pull. They do have a pre-qualification process. So you don't have to have a hard pull without actually receiving a loan offer. So when you fill out the information about the soft pull, make sure you put the desired loan amount, the purpose of the loan, your date of birth, the email address and phone number, your income information, if any, and the last 4 digits of your social. Very important to have that. And once you do, you just click submit. And what will happen is that they will get back to you. It will be reviewed. Sometimes it's reviewed algorithmically. In other words, it's just the system that does it. It's not a real person sitting there in the background that does it. No. So the system will review, they will review, and they will just offer you something. They'll offer you, and if you agree to go ahead with the offer, that's when the hard pull will happen. And at that point, they might ask you for additional information. They might ask you to send your tax returns for the last 3 years. They might ask you to send your bank statements and other related documentation. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. I'm still having a convo with you about huge loans, huge personal loans for bad credit. So we're actually comparing and contrasting LendingPoint, Upgrade, Avant, and TD Bank. Speaking of TD Bank, let me just review this player pretty quickly. So when you think about TD Bank, you want to think about a bank that is a bank loan that is great for low rate caps. Minimum credit score 570. The APR will oscillate between 6.99% and 21.99%. The loan amount will range from $2,000 to $50,000. And the cool thing here is that here are the pros and cons of TD Bank. So, of course, when you apply with the TD Bank, you have the experience of a brick and mortar bank, right? So TD Bank has branches all over the United States and Canada. So you can actually walk into a TD Bank branch, sit with a loan rep, and fill out the application right there. Okay, you can also negotiate with them. You can also, the cool thing for me at least, and based on our research here, you want to have an account with TD Bank if you plan on borrowing from TD Bank. That way they can see your transactional history, they can see your information, and they might be more likely to grant you the loan, even if you have bad credit. And another benefits with TD Bank is that you have a low APR. What about the cons here? They have not disclosed the full eligibility requirements for the loan, but based on our research, and we actually also reached out to them, so they told us that in general, they look at 3 things. They look at employment, they look at your credit score, and they also look at, the third thing they look at is they look at your financial situation. So basically, if you have an account with them, for instance, they will see your bank balances. They can verify your employment via the pay stubs, your W-2s, your income tax returns, and your financial situation. They can verify that by asking you your bank statements. Okay, so as long as all those things are taken care of, you should be good to go. And of course, you got to have a social. You got to have a recap of any expense that you have, such as mortgages or rent. Like, they want to have an idea of your existing debts, okay, before granting you the loan. Let me talk to you now, folks, about Avant. Avant is our 4th player in today's comparison, and Avant is great for repayment option variety. So you have a wide bevy of repayment options that they allow you to have, and the minimum credit score here is 580. The APR will oscillate between 9.95% and 35.99%, and the loan amounts will range from $2,000 to $35,000. So here you have it. I mean, Avant is a great company too. We have actually covered this player on another show before, but they are very serious. They are very good in terms of mobile innovation, and the user interface is fantastic. We love it. And about the pros, they have a range of loan amounts, and they have a mobile app. They also have a user-friendly interface. In terms of cons, they do not allow co-borrowers. As a matter of fact, they're not the only one. Upgrade does not allow, and LendingPoint also does not allow they do not allow co-borrowers. And you do have high APR caps for Avant in terms of their drawback. and they do have fees also. So when we speak about fees, we're talking about administrative fees, okay? And the administrative fee can go all the way to 4.75% of all amounts or the loan amounts, okay? Folks, before I just want to quickly specify that all the loans we are talking to about today are unsecured. They're not secured. They are unsecured. There is no deposit needed. Okay, no problem there. But you do have to pay some fees. Something you need to know about. And Avant also have a pre-qualification process that allows you to enter basic information into the system, and you can get an offer. And if you decide to go forward with the offer, they will run a hard pull. But if you just stick to the pre-qualification process, they're not charging you a hard pull. They're not doing a hard pull. They're doing a soft pull. Okay, and the soft pull has has minimal impact on your credit score and credit history. So the online application is very simple to follow. It's a Q&A, is a question and answer process, and they will ask you about your personal information, right? Things like your address, your phone number, email, and social. They might ask you for your monthly net income, monthly housing payments, the loan amount, your credit score, and the reason for the loan. Otherwise, they have a great customer service also, and they've been doing this for a couple of years now, and we love the consistency in the quality of service here. All right, folks, so here you have it. I did a quick compare and contrast between LendingPoint, Upgrade, Avant, and TD Bank. So the question is, which one should you choose? That's the biggie, right? Which one should you choose? And our answer is, it really depends. It depends on a constellation of things. But before I actually dig a little deeper, let me bring back what I said at the beginning of today's show. How to choose the best bad credit loan company. You got to look at the eligibility requirements. You have to pay attention to the interest rates and fees. You got to look at repayment terms and the type of lender. Do we have a bank? Do we have a credit union? Do we have an online lender? Do we have an alternative lender? So I've put on the screen, we're going to put on the screen for each of the four players some of the recaps. So first we start with Avant. Avant is best for repayment option variety. Minimum credit score 580. The APR will range from 9.95% to 35.99%. The loan amounts will range from $2,000 to $35,000. That's for Avant. Next, we show on the screen, folks. I want you to pay attention on the screen right now, because this is going to help you make a decision. So we have TD Bank. So in terms of the bad credit loan from TD Bank is great for low rate caps. The minimum credit score is 570. The APR will range from 6.99% to 21.99%, and the loan amount will range from $2,000 to $50,000. Let's move on to LendingPoint. LendingPoint is great for small loans and flexible loans. Okay, the minimum credit score here is 550. The APR will oscillate between 9.99% and 35.99%. The loan amount $2,000 all the way to $36,500. What about the fourth player? So we have Upgrade. So Upgrade is best for fast funding, very fast funding. They will fund you within hours. You just apply, you just go to the supermarket to take care of something, you come back, the loan is approved. Of course, I'm just oversimplifying things here, but it's that fast. And the minimum credit score is 525. The APR will oscillate between 5.94% and 35.94%. With autopay, of course, you got to have autopay. And the loan amount will oscillate between $1,000 and $50,000. All right, folks. Our pick in today's conversation is Upgrade. We have scored this company 10 over 10. TD Bank 9.5 over 10. Avant 9 over 10. And LendingPoint 9 over 10. So our pick is Upgrade because Upgrade actually offers a better constellation of features. For example, you can see that their minimum credit score is 525. They have a very fast funding. The turnaround is fantastic. And the APR is reasonable. The APR range is reasonable. So you're looking at 5.94% to 35.94%. Make sure you have autopay. and the loan amounts will can range from $1,000 to $50,000. Thank you so much, folks, for your attention. I really appreciate it. I will see you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.